Sushruta for NEET is now available on the Google Play Store. Try it out for free.
Good evening, everybody. Hearty welcome to biology classes of Jnanamarg and your academy. Dear students, today we shall take up another important concept related to molecular basis of inheritance, that is Human Genome Project. What is this Human Genome Project? What is this genome? Why we should know about the genome? What is the peculiarity of the genome? So many questions may come in your mind. Definitely, within another decade of time, when you wish to get married, I am sure when a boy proposes to a girl will ask that boy, you please send your genome report. Let me decide on that. Because the days of horoscope is gone. It is the days of genome report. Once we get our genome report, every person will be in a position to know what all types of genetic disorders were there in his family and what type of genetic disorders are possible in his future generation. So now let us know more about this Human Genome Project. In the preceding part of molecular basis of genetics, what you have studied, you have learned that it is a sequence of bases in DNA that determines the genetic information of a given organism. I am sure you understand this. The bases sequence, the sequence of bases in DNA that determines the genetic information of a given organism. So if at all, on the other day I have told you, what is a gene? If at all you are put that question, gene is a mass of nitrogen bases, or gene is represented by sequence of nitrogen bases in DNA. In other words, genetic makeup of an organism or an individual, genetic makeup of an organism or an individual lies in DNA sequence, right? If two individuals differ, then their DNA sequences should also be different, at least at some places. This is very important. At least at some places. So this difference in the DNA sequence results in the production of different types of proteins, which results in a different structure of the different body organs. So if two individuals differ, their DNA sequences also should be different, at least at some places. These assumptions led to the finding out of complete DNA sequence of human genome. Right? Look here. You do come across here two babies. Look into the DNA. What it tells you? What it tells you? It tells you almost the sequence of the DNA are same. So, likely that these two individuals are, come and tell me,
Identical.
what? Identical. With the establishment of genetic engineering techniques, where it was possible to isolate, we are going to study that in detail later under biotechnology, it was possible to isolate and clone any piece of DNA, and availability of a simple and fast techniques for determining DNA sequences. A very ambitious project of sequencing human genome was launched in the year 1990. The question, objective type of question related to this is when human genome was launched. In which year human genome was launched? Answer is 1990. Human Genome Project, abbreviated as HGP, was called a mega project. You can imagine the magnitude and the requirement for the project if you simply define the aims of a project as follows. So now you have the question, what are the aims of the Human Genome Project? Human genome is said to have approximately 3 into the 10 to the power of 9 base pairs. Very, very important. How much? 3 billion. 3 billion. 3 into 10 to the power of 9. You must know, we have 3 billion base pairs. Another important point, Jayasri. And if the cost of sequencing required in US dollar, $3 per base pair, in US dollar, $3 per base pair. Imagine how much money we may have to spend or one has spent on this Human Genome Project. The total estimated cost of project would be approximately 9 billion. 9 billion. Understood? Because you have 3 billion net time basis. 3 to 3, 9 billion US dollars. Further, if the obtained sequences are to be stored in the type of a book form, and if each page of the book contained 1000 letters, and each book contained 1000 pages, then 3300 such books would be required to store the information of DNA sequence from a single human cell. From a single human cell. One human cell is sufficient to just know about the base pairs, because the chromosomes remain same in all these cells. Right? DNA remains same in all these cells. Imagine the quantum of work. The enormous amount of data expected to be generated and also necessitated the use of high-speed computation devices called data storage and retrieval and analysis. Now, Human Genome Project became possible because of the computer's availability. All this data could be fed into and could be generated only with the help of computers. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, the enormous amount of data expected to be generated also necessitated the use of high-speed computational devices for data storage and retrieval. Whenever you want, we have to retrieve the data and later analysis. So, Human Genome Project is mainly dependent on the use of computer. HGP was also closely associated with the rapid development of a new area in biology, bioinformatics. Right. Now, let us look into goals of HGP. Some of the important goals of Human Genome Project were as follows. Very important goals of HGP. You will be asked for 4 marks in the board exam. In the board exams. What are the goals of HGP? Identify all the approximately 20,000 to 25,000 genes in the human DNA. If at all you are asked, how many genes are there in human DNA? Answer is generally given is roughly 30,000. Very important point. We have around 30,000 genes in human DNA. It is given here 20,000 to 25,000. Then, what is another goal? Determine a sequence of 3 billion base pair. Sequence in what order they are arranged. How many? 3 billion chemical base pairs that make up human DNA. We should know in what way the genes are present, nitrogen bases are present. You must also know that these 20 to 25,000 genes or 30,000 genes are situated on how many chromosomes? Navya?
Yes, sir.
We say that now there are 20 to 25,000 genes. Or we say that now there are 3 billion base pairs. On how many chromosomes you have these?
46.
Yeah, these 46 actually it is a complementary, no? Whatever you have in one homologous chromosome, the complementary allele is present on another. Am I right? Am I
Yes,
right?
sir.
So it means it is in 23 chromosome. And we should know also store this information databases. This is another one. Whatever we have information available about these base sequences and all, store this information databases, improve tools for data analysis. Whatever we know, the arrangement of 3 billion chemical base pairs, and these base pairs are concerned with what? All these are all these informations are analyzed, transfer related technologies to other sectors such as industries, address the ethical, legal, and social issues. What you say? Ethical, legal, social issues, LC, ELSI, that may arise from the project. So these are the goals of HGP. It is asked in examination for 4 marks question, right? The Human Genome Project was 13-year project coordinated by US Department of Energy and the National Institute of Health. During the early years of HGP, Wellcome Trust of UK became a major partner. Additional contributions came from Japan, France, Germany, China, and others. Remember, which all countries are involved in this project and who coordinated this project. The project was completed in 2003, but even now we are not getting the Human Genome Project report of our individual human beings. Knowledge about the effects of DNA variation, knowledge about the effects of DNA variations among individuals can lead to revolutionary ways to diagnose, treat, and someday prevent the thousands of disorders that affect the human beings. We are not aware. Many of the health problems that we are facing today, they all have genetic origin. Once we come to know about this, it becomes easy for us to solve many of our problems. Besides providing clues to understanding human biology, learning about the non-human organisms, DNA sequences, can lead to an understanding of their natural capabilities that can be applied toward solving challenges in healthcare, agriculture, energy production, environmental remediation, etc. It is not that only Human Genome Project got studied. Lot of studies going on to know the genome report of other organisms also, which are of very importance in the experimental biology. Many non-human model organisms, such as bacteria, yeast, Caenorhabditis elegans. Caenorhabditis elegans. I hope you might have heard about that. This is a free-living, non-pathogenic nematode. Can you tell me to which phylum it belongs?
Nematoda.
Nematoda, it belongs to which phylum? Nematoda. Yes. What is actually nematoda?
Ascalmanthus.
Ascalminthus. Why it is called a nematoda? Canisa? Canisa? Aisha? Why it is called nematoda? Blessy? Duty, Rakesh, Prithvi,
Sir,
Siddesh. Yeah,
sir, is it because the body is circular?
pardon?
Is it because the body is circular?
Duty, are you answering?
Yes, sir.
Duty, remember, nematoda, not only Duty, all of you please remember, nematoda is an order, is the name of the order, under Ascalmithus, Ascalmithus, Ascalmithus are also called, or others called, Navya. Ascalmithus are also called
Nematodes.
Nematelminthus, Nematelminthus, Nematelminthus. As Diti said, Ascalmithus are when the section is taken, body is cut horizontally, they appear around. Nematelminthus name. These are all Nima is not the name of a girl. Nima means a thread. Thread. These are thread-like animals. Remember, whether you call this phylum as Ascalmithus or Nematelminthus, this has only living order. Present day living order. Only one order is with the living animals, and this order is called a Nematoda. Therefore, all the members of Ascalmithus, Nematelminthus are simply called a nematodes. Understood? Are simply called a nematodes. Rakesh,
Yes, sir.
why you have forgotten this? So we have some other, you have knowledge of the genome of Drosophila also, the free living. This is a free living Ascalmithus member. Remember, I will show that. And most of the Ascalmithus member which you have studied in animal kingdom, they are all what? They are all,
Worms.
they are all, they are all
Parasites.
parasites. And this is the free living. This is the free living. It is found in the soil. And also we know the knowledge of genome of plants, rice, Arabidopsis, small fruit plants related to cabbage and mustard, etc. have also been sequenced for the nitrogen bases. This is what I have. Caenorhabditis elegans. It is a hermaphrodite. It is a nematode, member of a Platyhelminthes, free living. It is not parasitic. Caenorhabditis elegans. Caenorhabditis elegans. C. elegans. It is hermaphrodite adult. This is Human Genome Project. We know what all the nitrogen bases are present on all these 23 chromosomes, right? Methodologies. The methods involve two major approaches. The study of Human Genome Project involved two major approaches. One approach focused on identifying all the genes that are expressed as RNA. Very important, that are expressed as RNA. That means which got coded. One approach focused on identifying all the genes that are expressed as RNA, referred to as expressed sequence tags, ESTS. Expressed sequence tags. That means if at all you have DNA, all the DNA when they are transcribed, when all the genes present on the DNA, all the genes present on DNA, when they got transcribed, that means this is expressed as RNA. All the genes present on the DNA expressed as RNA. This particular method is involved. Method is called expressed sequence tags, ESTS. Let us see that. So see here, this particular part, suppose you take up chromosome, this particular part, you know that inside the chromosome we have the DNA. If this the DNA from here to here, if at all this part is enlarged here, this is the DNA. You know, this DNA involves exon, intron. I hope you know the difference between exon and intron. Who will tell me? Come on. Who will tell me? Harshavardhan, what is the difference between exon and intron? Come on, who will tell me? What is the difference between exon and intron? Kanisa. Hello?
Sir, during transcription, intron will be removed.
No, that is what is the intron, what is exon? Why that introns are removed?
They
Why
do not
introns?
code for
No, they do not code for any proteins. So, expressed sequence tags are small pieces of DNA. Expressed sequence tags, that means it got expressed, are small pieces of DNA sequence, usually 200 to 500 nucleotides. Their size is around 200 to 500 nucleotides that are generated by sequencing either one or both ends of the expressor gene. The idea is to sequence bits of DNA that represents gene expressed in certain cells, tissues, or organs from different organisms and use these tags to fish a gene out of a proportion chromosome DNA by matching base pairs. The challenge associated with identifying genes from genome sequence varies among organisms. So, as you know, here, varying organisms and is dependent upon genome size as well as the presence or absence of intron. So, introns, the intervening DNA sequence, interrupting the protein coding sequence of a DNA. So, whenever I ask you, what is exon? Exon is the part which codes for protein. Exon is a part of or part contains sequence of DNA which codes for a protein. Introns, they do not code for any protein. They do not code for any protein. Understood? Clear? Clear? Look here. What is this? You tell me. What is this?
exon,
What is this?
intron.
So introns are removed. Introns are removed. Only the exons are joined. And this results in mRNA. So this is now expressed, it contains expressed sequence tags. It contains about 200 to 500 nucleotide sequences. Understood? Clear? Clear? Okay? Now, the other took the blind approach of simply sequencing the whole set of genome that contained all the coding and non-coding sequences. In the first one, expressed sequencer tag, expressed sequencer tag, expressed sequencer tags. Here, it contains only exon or intron, only
Exon.
exons. Here, it includes both. The another approach is by simply sequencing the whole set of genome that contain all the coding and non-coding sequences. What you call coding sequence? Exons. What you call non-coding sequence? Non-coding sequence? Introns. And later, assigning different regions in the sequence with the function. Now, you have one particular here. Let us consider whatever I have marked here. These are all are exons. These are all are exons. So, and in between what you have? In between what you have? Introns. Introns. So now what is done? Entire DNA sequence is taken, both coding and non-coding sequence. Later, assigning different region. Now you have this one, region 1, region 2, region 3. Later, assigning different regions in the sequence with the function. Well, the region 1 is concerned with the function x. Region 2 is concerned with the function y. And region 3 is concerned with the function z, like that. Later, assigning different regions in the sequence with the functions. Okay. And this assigning different regions in a sequence with the function is known as a sequence annotation. Annotation. A term referred to as sequence annotation. Have you understood this concept, Siddesh? Siddesh?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Nadira?
Yes, sir.
Prithvi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, for sequencing, the total DNA from a cell is isolated. For sequencing, What for sequencing? We have to know which are all the regions with the coded message and what function they are doing. This is what we are going to prepare. For sequencing, the total DNA from a cell is isolated and converted into random fragments of relatively small size. Converted into, you remember, our human DNA consists of how many billions nitrogen bases?
3 billion.
3 billion.
3 billion. Is it possible to go for virtually all the 3 billions to sequence? No. So for that reason, what is done? The total DNA from a cell is isolated and converted into random fragments. Here and there, it is cut into small pieces here and there. In between that, 3 billion bases of relatively smaller size, and cloned in a suitable host using specialized vector. So we are not going to take entire 3 billion lot. Small pieces here and there selected, small pieces, random fragments. Cell is isolated, converted into random fragments of relatively smaller size, and cloned. And these are cloned in suitable host using specialized vector. We are going to study this later. Remember, DNA is a very long polymer, and there are technical limitations in sequencing very long pieces of DNA. It is not possible. It is 3 billion. The cloning resulted in amplification of each piece of DNA fragment so that it subsequently could be sequenced with the ease. I hope you understand my point. So we are not going to study all the 3 billion pieces, base pairs that are bases that are present in the DNA. Here and there, some of these fragments are chosen, and these small fragments are cloned. They are multiplied. And this enables us to study very quickly. The cloning resulted in the amplification of each piece of DNA fragment so that it subsequently could be sequenced with ease. The commonly used hosts were bacteria and yeast. We want some host to clone them. The commonly used hosts were bacteria and yeast, and the vectors were called BAC, bacterial artificial chromosome, and YAC, yeast artificial chromosome. You'll be asked sometimes, what is the full form of BAC? What is the full form of YAC? B stands for bacteria, Y stands for yeast. And these organisms are used to just clone, the used as vectors for just cloning human DNA. The fragments were sequenced using automated DNA sequencer. Automated, that means humanly you cannot do anything. It is impossible. We want the help of some machine. The fragments are sequenced using automated DNA sequencer that worked on the principle of a method developed by Frederick Sanger. Again, another important person to be remembered. Who has developed the method to sequence human DNA using automated DNA sequencer? The credit goes to Frederick Sanger. So this is what we have. A DNA sequencer, what you see here in the picture, these are all DNA sequencer. A DNA sequencer is a scientific instrument used to automate the DNA sequencing process. That means once the DNA is put inside this machine, automatically it starts selecting small pieces of the DNA and making them getting cloned and give us the result. Given a sample of DNA, a DNA sequencer used to determine the order of the 4 bases, namely guanine, cytosine, adenine, and thymine. I hope you understand what is the DNA sequencer. So please have the screenshot of this. You must know what is a DNA sequencer. In this machine, in this scientific instrument, human DNA is put and it will give us a report in what sequences nitrogen bases are present in the human DNA of a given person. Understood? Clear? Diti?
Yes, sir.
Rafa?
Yes, sir.
Chinmayi?
Yes, sir.
Vismita? Okay. These sequences were then arranged based on some overlapping regions present in them. So these sequences are then arranged based on overlapping regions present in them. Now, let us in it after cutting that you get some sequence. But you should know how the nitrogen bases are arranged right from the beginning to the end of the human DNA. Now, let us in that you got one piece. Here you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And you got another piece where you have F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. You got one more piece where you have K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. Can we arrange these? If at all you got some pieces, first you got this one, next you get this one, and third you got this one. Can we arrange the sequence? Can we arrange these pieces and find out what is the sequence of this nitrogen bases? Can you? No. If you don't know which is the first piece, this is the first piece really? No. If these are some of the sequences that you get, you tell me which is the first piece, which is second piece, which is third piece. You know here, you are arranging A, B, C, D, E, F, and here F, G, H. And is it not that these are overlapping? Is it not that these are overlapping? Is it not that you can follow A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R? Are you understanding my point? Aisha?
Yes.
Is it clear? Navya,
Yes, sir.
are you following me? These sequences were then arranged based on some overlapping region. Overlapping region. Like this, whatever you have some overlapping region. For example, I have written ABCD. Instead of like that, I write T, A, G, C, C, G, A, T, T. Another piece I have A, T, T. Then I have B, C, G, 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 C, C, C. And I have C, 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 A, T, T. Later. Is it not that this and these sequences are overlapping and these sequences overlapping? So you can make out this is the first piece, this is the second piece, this is the third piece, like that. So this required generation of overlapping fragments for sequencing. So you must know, whenever we get a number of pieces, by looking into overlapping sequences, you can arrange them and then you can find out the exact sequence of nitrogen bases. Therefore, specialized computer-based programs were developed for this purpose. Have you followed this or it is confusing? Rakesh?
Yes, sir.
Have you made it? Hello, are you there? Kanisa,
Yes, sir.
have you followed?
Yes, sir.
Diti,
Yes, sir.
shall you go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is what you have, the Human Genome Project, how it is isolated. We are going to select the cell in that nucleus, in that chromosome, in that DNA, and this is put into, what is this called? Don't say computer, don't say desktop. What is together?
DNA sequencer.
Pardon?
DNA sequencer.
DNA sequencer. Okay, DNA sequencer gives you exactly how the nitrogen bases are arranged in a particular human genome. Now, these sequences are subsequently annotated. Once you know the sequences, by looking into their function, they are subsequently annotated. What is annotation? Add notes to or a text or diagram giving explanation or comment on that particular part. And were assigned to each chromosome. The sequence of chromosome number 1 was completed only in May 2006. This is the last of the 24 human chromosomes, 28 autosomes plus X and Y. Why only 22 autosomes? Why not the another 22 autosomes? Janani, Janani, Janani.
Yes, sir.
Why that only 22 autosomes got completed? What about another 22 autosomes?
Sir, they are complementary.
They are complementary. Who has answered this?
Kenny, sir.
Why not Janani? Janani, have you not understood?
Did not get, sir.
No, you did not understand the question, or now you realized it?
Now I realize, sir.
Yeah, okay. So whatever alleles are present on 22, whatever alleles are present on 22, say what you have on chromosome number 1, homologous chromosome, the same arrangement of alleles is there on chromosome number 1 of a maternal chromosome also. If there is a paternal, whatever the arrangement is there, sequence is there, same sequence you come across in another homologous chromosome from another parent. So the sequence of chromosome number 1 was completed in May 2006. This was the last, always you must know, last of the 24 human chromosomes, that is the 22 autosome plus X and Y to be sequenced. Another challenging task was assigning the genetic and physical maps on the genome. That means marking which particular gene is present on which particular chromosome. That is what is known as a physical mapping on the genome. Right? This is another challenge. This was generated using information on polymorphism of restriction endonuclease recognition sites and some repetitive DNA sequences known as microsatellites. So this generating information on particular arrangement of the genes on the chromosome or nucleic bases of chromosome and was made possible by polymorphism. What is that? Making many copies of that and studying using restriction endonuclease recognition sites. We are going to study details about that in the next chapter. And some repetitive DNA sequences known as microsatellites. I will tell about microsatellites in this class itself, and about this restriction endonuclease recognition site, I shall tell in biotechnology chapter. Right? So, a restriction enzyme or a restriction endonuclease, you must know that. We are going to study in detail in biotechnology chapter. A restriction enzyme or restriction endonuclease, as you can make out, it's an enzyme, is an enzyme that cleaves the DNA into fragments at or near a specific recognition site. There is a particular place where this enzyme works. It will not work anywhere in the DNA molecule. Now, you can cut the DNA into fragment by this enzyme at a given particular site. We say that recognition site for restriction endonuclease. A restriction enzyme or restriction endonuclease is an enzyme that cleaves the DNA into fragments at or near specific recognition sites within a molecule known as restriction sites. Restriction sites or restriction recognition sites, they are one and same, are locations on DNA molecule containing specific 4 to 8 base pairs in length, not more than that. So each restriction site or restriction recognition site has around 4 to 8 within 48 base pairs sequence of nucleotide which are recognized by restriction enzyme. We are going to study different recognition sites and enzymes concerned with these recognition sites in the separate class. Now, let us look into salient features of human genome. Again, this is a question for 4 marks, right? Or 5 marks. Some of these, is there any doubt so far? Any doubt so far? Any doubt so far? Hello, Sarvotam? Any doubt? Is it clear? Come on. Do you have any doubt? Vishwas? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Vishwa? Yeah? Okay. Kavita?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
Sir.
Pardon, Vishwas? So who spoke? Just now someone spoke?
No doubt, sir. No doubt. Sir.
Okay, no doubt. Charan,
Yes, sir.
any doubt?
Yes, sir.
No. Okay, shall I go ahead? I shall continue now. Listen to me. Salient features of human genome. Asked for 4 to 5 marks. Some of the salient features of human genome project are as follows. 1. Human genome contains 3,164 million nucleotide bases. I said 3 billion, you know. Am I right? So, 1 billion is equal to 1,000 million. So, it is same. The average gene consists of 3,000 bases. One gene is made up of how many bases? On the other day, I have just told you. I will answer this question later. One gene is made up of how many bases? One base, one pair of bases, two pair, 100, 1,000. On an average, human gene consists of 3,000 bases, but the sizes vary greatly, with the largest known human gene being dystrophin, with the 2.4 million bases. Kanisa,
Yes, sir.
Navya,
Yes, sir.
where you come across this? Kanisa, Navya, where you come across this? Any idea? This is the largest human gene with the 2.4 million
Sir,
bases.
is it in the brain area?
Brain, who is telling?
Navya.
Navya, is it taught in the class to you?
Yes, sir.
Human gene being the largest one is the dystrophin. I will tell you. The total number of genes is estimated at 30,000. At the beginning, we said, we have read 20 to 25,000. Now we are telling the same textbook, it is said 30,000, much lower than previous estimates of 80,000 to 1,40,000 genes. Once it was thought that the total number of human gene exceeds 1 lakh. No, it is estimated around 30,000. Almost, this is very important, very, very important, very, very important. Listen, Charan, almost all 99.9% nucleotide bases are exactly the same in all people. Exactly same in all the people. 99.9% nucleotide bases are exactly the same in all people. Right? All people. So difference is only 0.1%. Right? Now, Navya,
Yes,
there is
sir.
a abbreviation called DMD, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, largest known human gene, provides instruction for making a protein called dystrophin. This protein is located primarily in muscles, not in the nerves. Okay? Muscles used for movement, skeletal muscle, and in heart, cardiac muscle. So you must know the largest gene in case of human being is a dystrophin. Is concerned with making protein called dystrophin. And dystrophin is very much required for functioning of our skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle. Small amounts of dystrophin are present in the nerve cells. Okay? Navya, understood?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So remember, dystrophin is the protein which is coded by the largest gene in our human body. Okay? Clear? It is made up of how many bases? 2.4 million bases. Shall I go ahead? Kavita, understood? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, the shortest known functional gene, that is, it codes for protein that is actually used by the organism, is a histone gene. Histone gene, responsible for protein histone, is about 500 base pair long. This is the smallest, shortest gene in human body. Is concerned with coding for histone. Whatever protein it is coded, we call that gene by that name. Dystrophin gene. Dystrophin gene is the gene which codes for dystrophin. Histone gene is the gene that codes for histone. Histones are proteins that are involved in organizing DNA into nucleosome, which are the compact basic building blocks of chromosome. Right? Clear? Shall we go ahead, Vishwas?
Yes, sir.
Now, fourth one. The functions are unknown for over 50% of the discovered gene. Whatever genes we have already discovered, now we have the knowledge of 30,000 genes. We know that there are 30,000 genes. The functions are unknown for over 50% of the discovered gene. Less than 2% of the genome codes for protein. Even though we know that the human genome consists of 30,000 genes, less than 2% of the genome codes for proteins. Repeated sequence make a very large portion of the human genome. Repeated sequence. What do you mean by that? Repetitive sequences are stretches of DNA sequences that are repeated many times. Repeated many times. Sometimes 100 to 1,000 times. They are thought to have no direct coding function, but they shed a light on chromosome structure, dynamics, and evolution. This is a very important point. I don't know how much you have understood. So, one thing that you should know, even though you have 30,000 genes, only less than 2% of genome codes for protein. And another important part is that repetitive sequence make up a very large portion of human genome, because only 2%, how much from the 2%? 30,000 genes. How much it comes? How much it comes? How much it comes? Hello? 2% genome codes for protein. Out of 30,000, how many genes code for protein? Hello?
600.
Yeah, 600. Repeated sequences are stretches of DNA sequence that are repeated many times. So much of the genes are with the repeated sequence, are repeated many times to the extent of 100 to 1,000 times, and they are thought to have no direct functioning, no direct coding functioning. They do not code for any protein, but to shed the light on chromosomal structure, dynamics, and evolution. Right? Now, let me just to show you. Chromosome number 1 has most gene, 2,968, and Y chromosome has the fewest, 231. So remember, the least number of genes are present on Y chromosome. Right? Now, Navia, Kanisa, Aisha, Blessy, you have to tell me how many genes are present in your X chromosome?
2000.
Navia,
Yes, sir.
how many? Janani, sorry, I forgot you. Janani, how many chromosomes are present in your X chromosome? I am telling that how many chromosomes, how many genes are present in my Y chromosome? Jyoti,
Sir, in X 2000, right?
who said it?
Navya.
Navya, around 2,000 genes, correct. Scientists have identified about 1.4 million locations. Remember, 1.4 million locations. 1.4 million locations where single base DNA differences in 1.4 million locations, there is single base DNA difference. We call it SNPS, single nucleotide polymorphism, pronounced as SNPs. Understood? That means if at all you look into DNA, here, one base difference in between, only one base. In how many places? 1.4 million locations. There is single base DNA difference occur in humans. Have you understood this point? Did you understand this point? Nadira, did you understand this point?
Sir, will you please
Yes.
explain it
Huh?
once again, sir?
Pardon?
Explain it once again, sir.
See, if at all you have, let us say this is your DNA. In this DNA, in 1.4 million location, in all other part it is same. In 1.4 million locations, the difference is only one single base. Adjacent base is the same. Here, 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 here. All nitrogen base sequence is the same, but for only one base difference. So scientists have identified that 1.4 million locations where single base DNA differences, what we call SNPS, single nucleotide polymorphism, transfer systems occur in humans. That means this one base is going to be repeated, and all other sequences remain same. Only for one base there is difference. This is known as a single base DNA difference. Rakesh, have you understood? Kanisa, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Rakesh, are you there? Rakesh? Madam, are you there? Asha, madam? This information promises to revolutionize the process of finding chromosomal location for disease-associated sequences and tracing human history. Okay, leave it. But what I wanted, you must know that in 1.4 million location, all other nitrogen bases are same, but one particular nitrogen base is going to be different. Single base difference. I hope it is clear. Diti, Rafa, Janani, Sarvottam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The new analysis confirmed the existence of 1,346 protein coding genes on chromosome number 2. How many genes are there on chromosome number 2? 1,346. How many genes are there on chromosome number 4? 796. So now, in this way, we have clear-cut idea how many genes are there on different chromosomes in the human genome. Right? Bringing their number together to 30,000 genes. Applications and future challenges. Deriving meaningful knowledge from the DNA sequences will define research through the coming decades, leading to our understanding of biological system. This enormous task will require the expertise and creativity of tens of thousands of scientists from varied disciplines in both public and private sectors worldwide. One of the greatest impacts of having human genome sequence may well be enabling radically new approach to biological research. In the past, researchers studied one or a few genes at a time. With whole genome sequences and new high-throughput technologies, we can approach questions systematically and on a much broader scale. They can study all the genes in a genome, for example, all the transcripts in a particular tissue or organ or tumor, or how tens of thousands of genes and proteins work together in interconnected networks to orchestrate the chemistry of life. Because now we are in a position to study all the 30,000 genes of human DNA. We are in a better position to understand the functioning of the genes. DNA fingerprinting. Another important concept for 4 to my 5 marks question. As stated in the preceding section, 99.9% of the base sequence among humans is the same. Remember? 99.9% of the base sequence among humans is the same. Assuming human genome has a 3 to 10 to the power of 9 base pair, in how many base sequence would there be difference? If at all it is, the difference is only 0.1%. Answer is this one. It is these differences in sequence of DNA which make every individual unique in their phenotypic appearance. Only because of 0.1% change, every individual is unique. Because of only 0.1. If at all I differ from you, or your brother differs from your sister, or sisters amongst you, or sisters if you differ from each other, or brothers, you differ from each other from your brother, because of 0.1% difference in nitrogen base sequence. Differences in DNA base pair is 99.9% of base pair are same, only 0.1 base pair are different. That means, so total 3 to 3 to the power of 10 into the, 3 to 10 to the power of 6 base pair are different among 3 to 10 to the power of 9 base pairs. So it is 3 into 10 to the power of 6 base pair are different. 3 into 10 to among 3 into 10 to the power of 9 base pairs. Understood? Clear? Clear? So you'll be asked 0.1% difference equals to 3 into 10 to the power of 6 base pairs different. This is what you have. 90.9% they are all alike. 0.1% that makes the individuals to look different. Are you understanding this point? Okay. The difference is because of 0.1%. If one aims to find out genetic differences between two and yes,
0.1% is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 6 base pair, sir.
yeah. You calculate. Okay? Yes.
Okay.
If one aims to find out genetic differences between two individuals or among individuals of a population, sequencing the DNA every time would be a daunting and expensive task. Imagine trying to compare two sets of 3 into 10 to the power of 6 base pairs. That means you have individual A and individual B. If you know that this individual A is different from individual B with regard to 3 into 10 to the power of 6 base pairs. Even comparing these 3 into 10 to the power of 6 base pair difference is a challenging one. Imagine trying to compare two individuals who differ in 3 into 10 to the power of 6 base pair. DNA fingerprinting is a very quick way to compare the DNA sequences of any two individuals. To know the DNA sequencing difference between the two individuals, we are going to a technique called DNA fingerprinting. So, this is what you have, the different chromosome, the different DNA fingerprinting, A, B, C, D, E, F. You can see that the arrangement of the genes are different in all these coding sequences, right? Now, I will come to that point. DNA fingerprinting involves identifying differences in some specific regions in DNA sequence called repetitive DNA, where we are going to see, we are going to find out, or we are going to study the differences in some specific regions in DNA sequence called repetitive DNA. What is this repetitive DNA? Repetitive DNA, because in these sequences, a small stretch of DNA is repeated many times. So you must know, DNA fingerprinting study is aimed at studying the nitrogen-based sequences in specific regions of DNA sequence called repetitive DNA. In these repetitive DNA sequences, in a small stretch of DNA, you will come across this is repeated many times. Right? Now, look into this. So you have genome 1 of one person, genome 2, genome 3. This is what you have marked here, you have come across here, right from here. You see that this GATA is repeated how many times? In the upper two? This is a segment of DNA. One segment of a small segment of DNA with repeated sequences. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Am I right?
9. Yes.
8 or 9?
9.
9. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
9.
Okay. Yeah. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it is written 8. That's what I asked. Whether you have simply read 8 and telling 8? No. So you see that in one person, it is repeated 9 times, the same sequence. In another person, again, it is 9 times. In one more person, it is repeated 10 times. Understood? So this, if at all you take one individual with this genome, another individual with this genome, is it not that it is possible for us to make that these two individuals are different? Can you make it out?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we say, the tandem repeats. So sometimes they'll ask what is tandem repeats. Tandem repeats occur in DNA when a pattern of one or more nucleotide is repeated and the repetitions are directly adjacent to each other. So here what is repeated? What sequence of DNA got repeated?
GATA.
GATA got repeated. Repeated sequence in a small stretch of DNA, it gets repeated. And this is unique to a particular individual. So that whenever crime is conducted, we can find out whether this is DNA of X person or whether this is DNA of Y person. Understood? So, we shall go to the next concept.
Sir,
Hello, come on.
sir, in the previous slide, can you go
Sir,
to
one
the,
second.
Which one?
Previous slide.
sir, no, after
Yeah.
that. Sir, what is the difference between genome 1 and genome 2?
No, in this, as far as this particular sequence is concerned, no difference. But you have to go for another one. You need not look at only one. In another repeated sequence, you will get the difference. This is one site. There are many such sites. Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
For some, it may resemble, but definitely there will be difference between a genome 1 and genome 2 in some other place, in some other region. Right?
Sir, why the repetition takes place like that, sir?
No.
Why it is not same? Why it is not same?
There is no answer. There is no answer. Why repetition? There is no answer. That's what he said. We don't know still, even though it is there, we do not know much about that. Right? 30,000 genes are there. We don't know much about 50% of those genes. Understood? Now you see here, you have two individuals. Can you make out the difference between individual 1 and individual 2? Easily? What is this repeat sequence contain? What bases? See here.
AG, TC, GG, TAAG.
Yeah, this is same, for individual 1 and individual 2. The sequence is same. But how many times repeated here? How many times it got repeated here? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So can't you differentiate individual 1 from individual 2?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here, type of mini satellite, because the repeat sequence is 10 to 100 nucleotide. The sequence repeats maybe. Now, repeat sequence. Here, how many repeat sequence contains nucleotide? It is very less. Very less. So 3 plus 3 plus about 10. It may be as many as 100. And sequence repeat may vary from 5 to 50. Clear? Now, these repeated DNAs are separated from bulk genomic DNA. Bulk genomic DNA means all the DNA of the chromosome. From this bulk DNA, repetitive DNA can be separated as different peaks during density gradient centrifugation. When density gradient centrifugation is made, bulk genomic DNA, because of density gradient, it comes to the bottom of the centrifugation tube. And repeated DNA, because of small, it remains at the top. The bulk DNA forms a major peak, and other small peaks are referred to as saturated DNA. Are you understanding this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us see that. Can you make it out? What is this 99.9%?
Bulk
Bulk
genomic DNA.
DNA. What is this 0.1%?
Repetitive DNA.
DNA. Let us do the centrifugation. Density gradient centrifugation. What do you get? This is what? Bulk DNA. This is repetitive DNA. Bulk DNA gets at the bottom because of density gradient. This is repetitive DNA. Because of the less volume in the DNA, it comes to the supernatant part. Satellite DNA, less. Bulk DNA, more. Satellite DNA, less. Right? Depending on base composition, A is to T rich or G is to C rich. Very important concept. Length of segment, a number of repeated units, the satellite DNA is classified into many categories. I will tell you what is satellite DNA later. Depending on base composition, A is to T. Why A is to T? G is to C. A pairs with T. G pairs with C.
C.
Length of segment, the number of repeated units, the satellite DNA is classified into many categories, such as microsatellite and mini-satellite. You must know what is microsatellite and mini-satellite. These sequences normally do not code for any protein. Microsatellite and mini-satellite together called satellite DNA. What is a satellite DNA? Satellite DNA is a part of the DNA which does not code for any protein, but they form a large portion of the human genome. These sequences show high degree of polymorphism and form the basis of DNA fingerprinting. So whatever you have repetitive DNA sequence show high degree of polymorphism. Whatever repetitive DNA you have in your chromosome, in your DNA, is not same as I have in my DNA. In this respect, we differ. Otherwise, the difference between me and you is only how much?
99.9%.
Yeah, difference is only
0.1%.
0.1%. 99.9%, me and you are same. 0.1%, me and you are different. So, but repeated DNA sequence show high degree of polymorphism. Whatever repeated DNA sequence you have in your DNA is different from what I have in my DNA. Whatever you come across in your brother or sister, it is different again. So it forms the basis for DNA fingerprinting. I hope you understood. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So satellite DNA is of two types, mini-satellite and microsatellite. This is what a mini-satellite and this is microsatellite. So you must know variable number of tandem repeat. Another important terminology is VNTR. Tandem repeat, that is the repeating of the repeated sequence. Variable number of tandem repeat, VNTR, loci are chromosome regions in which a short DNA sequence such as GC and AGCT is repeated variable number of times end to end at a single location. That is what is called a tandem repeat. At a single location, you have to come across variable number of repeats. It is not that only 8, sometimes it is 9, sometimes 12, sometimes 20, like that. So please note down variable number of tandem repeat, VNTR. Always ask what is VNTR? Variable number of tandem repeat. These are the loci in the chromosome region in which a short DNA sequence is repeated variable number of times. With the same sequence of genes is repeated variable number of times in a single particular location. You take one particular piece, in that particular piece, you come across variable number of times. Okay? Right? Clear? So I am going to stop it here and let me take up with regard to different types of this satellite, mini satellite, microsatellite difference in tomorrow's class.